Well, good afternoon. If it's Tuesday, 12:30 Eastern Time, it's Tuesday's Tips with Michael live here from the StreamYard studio. And if you're not using StreamYard, highly recommend it. It's a great platform. You can stream on multiple platforms at the same time. So we're coming to you today from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and our YouTube account. So all those are being presented live to you right now as you're seeing this. And wherever you're seeing this, if you're seeing this live, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, give us a like. We definitely like having you as part of our virtual community. So today we're going to start this little EQ, emotional intelligence journey. We talked about it last week, how important it is for leaders to assess the emotional needs of any situation they're in, whether it's at a one-on-one level, small group level, large group level, or organizational level, understanding what the emotional needs are at that particular moment and adapting your own style to those needs. I will be going through the 8 mindsets and the Everything Disc Agile EQ assessment. We teach our leaders to be agile, to be nimble, quick on their feet, to be able to assess the situation, change their behavior based on the needs of the situation. And we always start with where you are first. What kind of your comfort zone, your default position. In the training section called your GPS, where you like to be most of the time. And I tell leaders, know where you are, know what you do well, but let's be honest. To be successful, you need to stretch outside of that comfort zone to work in areas that are either uncomfortable for you or things that you're maybe not that great in right now that you need to practice. So over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to go through all 8 mindsets. So I'm going to give you some tips on each of those mindsets. If you'd like to take the assessment at no charge, send me a message wherever you're seeing this. I'll send you the link. You can take the assessment. You can see where you fall on the map. Happy to debrief you once you get your result. But today we're going to start top of the circle. We're going to talk about the dynamic mindset, specifically the dynamic mindset, some things to know about the dynamic mindset, and I'm also going to talk to you about some behaviors that would be to use while you're in that dynamic mindset. So let me kind of give you just kind of the description. Initiating action on your ideas, influencing people, and projecting a strong social presence. Now, again, there are leaders who probably do this well. It's where they reside, top of the circle on the disc map, and they're comfortable doing this. That said, I work with a lot of leaders whose comfort zone is on the bottom of the disc map. We'll talk more about those as we go through this. But being on the top, being dynamic is a stretch for them. It's difficult for them. So let me give you some tips and some of the behaviors that you may want to try when you assess the situation, a situation that you need to be dynamic, right? And those situations come into play when you need to take concrete steps to transform your ideas into reality, right? This is where you're kind of entrepreneurial, if you will. You want to put your stake in the ground. Create interest and momentum to help move your ideas forward. This is where you're taking the team from where they are to where you want to take them. And you need to be initiating that action. You need to be dynamic. Take advantage of opportunities that might otherwise go untapped. This is where you come up with those entrepreneurial new ideas to take the team forward. So what are some of the behaviors in this particular mindset? I would say taking risks. This is where you're going to put that idea on the table. You're going to take a risk. You're going to take a gamble. This is something you may not be totally sure about. So if you're bottom of the circle, this may be out of your comfort zone, but taking risks. Taking the lead on a project. There are leaders I work with that actually default leadership or give leadership to the group rather than taking it themselves for numerous reasons. But in this case, when you want to be dynamic, this is where you step up and take the lead on a project or take the lead on a situation. This is also where you create some urgency. Being dynamic means you want to create some energy and urgency around a project, around a time frame. This is not a place to be slow and steady. This is a place to be quick, fast, and have that sense of urgency. This is also where, in this dynamic, this is where you want to persuade others, right? You want to try to get folks to buy into this urgency, this idea you may have. This is also where you express yourself. I work with a lot of leaders who are uncomfortable expressing themselves, but when you're trying to be dynamic, this is where you got to express yourself, either at the one-on-one, small group, large group, or organizational level. You got to express yourself. And this is where you inspire others. This is where you take that idea and you pump people up But again, you got to be pumped up if you're going to get people pumped up. So this is, I said, this is the dynamic mindset. It comes into play in certain times when you're working with individuals or groups, and you need to stay there, stay in that comfort zone for you, or step into this comfort zone and understand that you may not live here most of the time. This may be uncomfortable for you, but there are times that you're going to have to take risks. You're going to have to take the lead. You're going to have to create a sense of urgency. You're going to have to persuade others, express yourself, and inspire others as a leader. And being dynamic will help you do that. First mindset of the 8. We're going to go next week. We're going to do outgoing, and when it is appropriate to be outgoing, some of the behaviors around being outgoing. Again, if you want more about this assessment, I'm happy to let you take it. If you have questions for me, please ping me. I get questions all the time. But this is Tuesday's Tips with Michael, live, wherever you're seeing this. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week here in the StreamYard studio. Make it a great week. Bye.